Welcome you all to the Beginner's Guide to Unit Testing. I'm Harshini Galapathy, representing Creative Software as a software engineer. So, before moving forward, I will take you through the agenda. First, I will give you some introduction about unit testing. Then I will be discussing about the importance of writing unit test and the tools related to unit test. As a second part, I will be writing unit test using JUnit and Mockito. Finally, I will conclude the session discussing about the best practices and other types of testing. Introduction to unit test. What is unit testing? It's the practice of testing functions, procedures and methods. So thereby you will be writing smaller focus function to test almost all the statements, decisions, branch and conditions in your code. So this is very important kind of testing because this is the first test you are going to do in your code and this is done by developers. So we shall discuss some important aspects of writing unit test. So this improves the code quality. That's obvious fact because if you have written unit test to cover the code, you can verify that your code is working correctly and your logic is correct. And of course, this leads to reliability of your final product. Every one of us need to deliver bug-free product at the end. So this is the first step of doing that. Start writing unit test in your code. So of course, we can write unit test while doing the development. You don't have wait till the end to write unit test. And of course, this facilitates code changes and code refactoring. Assume you have written test cases to cover the code, and then later there's a requirement to change the code and to do some refactoring. Of course, you can do this because once you have written unit test, you can verify that the code changes or code refactoring are correct. And of course, this provides documentation. Assume a person who joins your team later. If you have written unit test, that person can go through the unit test and identify the code requirements, functionalities of your code. So this is very important. And of course, this is compatible with agile process. In the later part of the slides, I will be discussing about test-driven development. So these are the some tools which will be going to use in some technologies to write unit test, and some of them are using for mocking purpose. So we have discussed more about the unit test and the importance of writing unit test. So what is next? Let's start writing some unit test. I hope every one of you are familiar with Java. Therefore, I'm going to write unit test in Java and I'm going to use JUnit. First of all, I need JUnit in my machine and I have already navigated to JUnit website, take junit.org and let's download the jars. You can download it from here. You need these two jars in your machine. Now I'm not going to download this because I already have downloaded this earlier. Here are the jars. So let's set the path. Since I'm using an Ubuntu environment, I'm going to set my path in bashr zip file. I'm going to use Vim editor. So let's save the path. So now I need this path in my terminal. Now I'm going to export them. For Windows user, you can easily set it from UI. Okay, now everything is set. What's next? Let's start doing some practicals. I'm using Sublime Text Editor here, and now I'm going to add my first test case. I shall name my class as sample test, and okay, I will set it as Java here. Okay, much better. And now this annotation means that the test annotation is from JUnit. Actually, I made a mistake. And now I'm going to write my first test method, public void. Since I'm going to compare the two strings, therefore I'm writing my function name as string comparison. Because once you are writing test methods, just remember to describe what it is doing inside the method. And let's define a string called actual as hello world. Now this one is also from asset equals, this is to compare the expected string and output actual string. So expected one is hello world. That means I am expecting this string to be a hello world, and this is what I am getting. I have imported JUnit here, and let's save the file. Sample test.java. Okay, and let's add another class to run this test case. My main method I'm adding here. And let's set it as Java. Okay. Here is my main method. So in here it will print the result from sample test class, and I am running the class here. And let's save this one as well as main.java. Okay, I'm going to compile it. My class are here, so let's compile them. Main.java, sample test.java, and yes, let's run the main method. Yeah, as expected, I have got true, because if you go to the sample test, I am expecting hello world as the actual string. So obviously this should run, this should pass, and let's change the actual one as hello world 123, and let's save the file and let's compile it again and run. Yeah, as expected, the test case has been failed. So this is the fundamentals of unit test, because nowadays no one is going to use command line to compile Java, and no one is going to download JARs and add them as dependencies. So from here onwards, I am going to use my IDE, IntelliJ IDEA with Gradle. This is the second demonstration. I have created this Java with Gradle. So if you go to the build.gradle file, you can see that I have added JUnit dependency here, and I will take you through the project. And this is student.java class, and it contains student name, student class, and marks. And this one is for student marks evaluation, and I am returning grade based on their marks. So let's start writing some unit test, and here I am going to add my class. So one thing to remember when you are naming your class, be sure that this is not a rule but it's best practice, so you can follow. Since I am writing unit test for student evaluation logic class, I am appending test at the end, because here I am going to add unit test. Therefore my class would be student evaluation logic test. Okay, now let's add the annotation, and I'm going to add my first unit case. And another practice, when you are naming your function, remember to describe it as it is as much as possible. Here I am checking the students with marks 80, therefore I am saying student 80 should return A. Now let's create student object. And set mark. And let's create student evaluation logic object. I did some mistake. And let's evaluate the mark. Find grade student. Here I am adding that expected grade, and this is the result. I forgot to add. Okay. Now my first test case is ready. Let's run and see. Here I am running from the IDE. Actually, there are commands to run it from terminal as well. It's taking some time. Yeah, as you all can see, my test case has been successfully passed. Actually, this should pass based on my logic. So you can verify that the logic you have written is correct. So let's add another test case. Here I am checking for grade B, student with 60 mark, and here I will change it as 60. So this runs successfully, and let's do some changes, and let's say it's a, here this is the expected value and the result is what I am getting from calling that actual method. Yeah, this is what happened when you have written some bad test cases. So if you have done any mistakes writing your logic, you can identify it from here. Okay, and another thing to remember is that once you are writing test cases, you should try to cover almost all the branches in it. In here I can check whether I have covered all the branches. Since I have covered this one and this one, I can see them as green, and these things I haven't covered. So when you are writing test cases, remember to add as much test as possible. I mean, at least to cover all the scenarios. So let's try another one. Here I am checking student with 75 marks. Actually, according as my requirement, this should return grade A, 75. Let's run and see. Oops, the test case has been failed. See what has happened. Let's navigate. So this point I wanted to highlight you, because from you can assume that you have written your logic correctly, but who knows, writing test cases you can verify that. And let's go to the logic and see what I have done. Yeah, as you can see, I have forgotten to add equal sign here. Therefore, I am getting B. So that's obvious. There, I got this point because I rewrote some test cases to cover this edge case. Otherwise, I will not be getting this failing scenario. Let's add equal sign and run it again. So it has passed successfully. Now I'm going to add another test case to highlight you another point. Let's add this one as set student marks as null. Let's see what's going to happen. So shall run it. Of course, for this kind of situation, that's what I was mentioning when I was talking about the advantages of writing unit test cases. It covers, like, you can verify that you have handled all the exceptions correctly. Here I am getting, and actually you should write unit test cases for both happy paths and sad paths. Here I am checking sad path. Previously I was checking happy paths. So here it will return null point exception because the student marks is null. Therefore, you can check this kind of scenarios as well. So what I am going to do is I am going to expect null pointer exception from here. So you can define it in here. Like if you're expecting any kind of exceptions, you can define it here. So I don't need this one. So it passed successfully. So this is the some basics of writing unit test. And another thing I wanted to remember is I wanted to tell you is that there are another annotations called before and after, before class and after class. These things are, we shall try and see what's going to happen, then you will understand. Public void and I shall add before class as well. And let's print as before class. So let's run all the test cases from here. So as you all can see, this before statement has printed 4 times and before class is only 1 time. That's because this runs before each and every test cases, and this runs only once before all test cases. So you can use these things to configure the data connections or construct some data sets which we'll be going to use in test cases. And another annotation is like at ignore. So this will not consider this as a test case anymore. Like for example, if you have changed your logic and you are yet to change your test case, so you can indicate it as a ignore. But from here I'm going to discuss about another important concept writing unit test called mocking. So when you are writing some functions to do some set of tasks, you may be calling some other functions. You may be calling your database to get data or save data. When you are writing your test case, are you going to cover the other functions as well? No, because when we are writing unit test, we are only focusing on that function only. So if that function calls some another functions, we need to return dummy data. So mocking unit test means, as you can see, when we are testing some function and it uses some dependency, mean some other calls to another services, maybe some other class or database, instead of returning actual data, what we are doing is we are sending dummy data. So this concept is very important when you are writing unit test, because almost all the scenario we have to use this. To demonstrate this mocking concept, I have created some other project. This is also from Java Gradle, and for the mocking purpose I have used Mockito framework. Here you can all see build.gradle file. I have added JUnit and Mockito dependencies, and let's go through the project. As previous project, I have the student class with the student name, student class and marks, and next I have this student DAO class. That means I am using this to demonstrate the DB functions. Here I haven't connected real DB. When some function is calling this one, I need to return the list of data from the first method and a particular student from second method when I am giving student name. So that's it. And the student evaluation logic, from the first method I am using this to update student class based on student's result. That means I am getting student name and I am getting the student from DB, and after evaluating student marks, if that student mark is that student grade is not equal to fail, I am updating student's class from 1. I mean that means student grade is updated. And this second method is to check whether student in primary class or not. And finally this one is I had this one in previous test case as well. This is to evaluate student grade. So in here I have already prepared the unit test. So from here I am creating student 1 and student 2 objects, and this mock annotation means I am going to mock student DAO class, and inject mocks means that from in student evaluation logic I will be inserting student DAO. So let's go through the first unit test case. See, I have already prepared this unit test case. Actually here I am not going to test some real methods from student evaluation logic class. So from here, as you can see, when I am calling this get all method, it should return student 1 and student 2 as list. From here I am calling it, and I have already defined what to return when I call this .get all method. And let's run the test case. Yeah, it should pass because here I am checking the return student list size, and it's actually 2. So this is the mocking concept. Here I am, as I have already mentioned in here, I am not calling the real method. I am just mocking the method and returning some dummy data because my intention is to test something else. So let's move into the second test case. From this test scenario, I wanted to check the update class method, and here I have mocked get student method in student DAO class, and when I am giving the student name as X, it should return student 1, and then I call the student evaluation logic. If we run that again, and it's passing because here I am checking whether it's null or not, the returning object, and I am checking the student class. That means if I go to the student 1 object, you can see that student mark is 70 and student current class is 5. Since this student is getting a grade A, he should pass, and his class is increased by 1. He is going to next level. And here I am checking the student class after I am calling this update student class method. Therefore the test case is passing, and what I wanted to highlight in here is that when I am in here, can also I am calling get student method from student DAO class, and actually I haven't even implemented it. But here I have written what to return when I call that method. So this is the mocking concept in use. And let's go to the next scenario. From this test case, I want to cover some other very important aspect of writing unit test. Let's see. So here I am checking the student primary method. That means I am checking whether the student is in primary class or not. So here my input is student 1. You can see the student 1's current grade is 5, and of course this should return true. Let's run. Yeah, it passes, and here I am checking whether the return value is true, and of course it's fine. And let's do something like this. Here I ran the test case individually. Let's run all of the test cases. So what happened? One test case failed. So let's go and see what happened. Check class test has been failed. Yeah, this is what's happening in here. You can see here I am constructing my data before running all the test scenarios, since I am using at before annotation. And what I am doing is here is I am updating students class. That means since that student 1 is once marks is 70, from calling update student class, his current class will be updated to grade 6. So when I am running, when this unit test case runs, it's using that updated method. Therefore, currently the student is in grade 6, and obviously this unit test fails. So what happened here is I have some interdependency between unit test cases. So in every point you should avoid such kind of scenarios. That means what I want, let's create this data set before each and every unit test. Therefore it will eliminate the interdependency between these unit tests. And let's run. So the test cases has been successfully passed. From here my demonstrations are over. Let's go to the next final section. I hope I have covered most important parts of writing unit test cases. So let's conclude the session by discussing about the best practices and other types of testing. So I have summarized best practices you should follow when you are writing unit test cases. Let's discuss. So as I mentioned here, when I am doing the demonstration, you should verify single use case. That means when you should write test case to test some functions, some single function, and you should cover all the scenarios, both happy parts and sad parts. And when you are writing unit test, be descriptive. Write the unit test method name as descriptive as possible, and you should avoid test interdependency. And these are the best practices I wanted to cover. So let's discuss some myths related to unit test writing, because some people try to avoid writing unit test cases, giving so many reasons like it's waste of time, it's such a simple code, so you don't have to write test cases because it's obvious, and later code changes will be more difficult if you have written unit test. Finally, I wanted to highlight is that writing unit test cases only increases the quality of your product, because you don't have to wait until the end. Maybe you may not find the reasons at the end, because some people think that the QA engineers can find errors at the end. So at that point you may not know what's happening inside your code, and even if you find the error, it will take lot more effort to solve it. So the best thing is writing your test cases while you are doing the development. Test driven development. It's practice of writing test cases before code is written. And actually what we are doing here is, first we write the test cases, then of course the test cases will fail, then we implement the methods, and then test cases will pass, finally refactoring the code. And there are some advantages of following this test driven development process. Of course you can find bugs early and improves the code quality, and when you are doing the implementation you can focus on single requirement. Here are the other types of testing, and I have listed some of them are here. These tests are done by both developers and QA engineers. From this I would conclude my session. I hope you gained some knowledge, and I would like to hear your feedback. Thank you.